Hi, I'm Sara. We have already set our intentions and our prayers for this session, so enjoy and learn. Where would we be without your speech issues?
We wouldn't be laughing as much, that's for sure. I take it the team is here?
Yes.
Okay. This is a question from Sara. Is my true passion to be that of an ambassador for peace?
In a manner of speaking, that should be everyone's passion. However, she's also curious as to whether her response to a mention of ambassador for peace, where she heard that also mentioned it can be done from wherever you are. For instance, from home. It doesn't mean going out with signs and marching around. And in other words, there are those who actively attempt to teach the world to be peace, or actively to be peace, to be peaceful, to desire peace and make it known to the world. But it can also be done in the privacy of one's home if it isn't possible to be out. If I understand her correctly, yes, she doesn't want to go out necessarily and meet people and lecture or have these sessions in front of an audience necessarily, and that sort of thing. She's okay, yeah. But yes, prayers and intentions, excuse me, for peace and bringing peace to humanity can be done. I think I'm repeating myself here when I say through prayers and intentions and during meditation. Perhaps with the help of a specific crystal, although I'll leave it to her to look up what kind of crystal could help with that. But I think basically a meditation crystal would be plenty. Would be perfectly fine. Does that answer her question, do you think?
Well, when she listens to this, we will find out. I have a question based on your answer, though.
All right.
You mentioned prayer several times in that answer.
Mm-hmm.
It is of my belief that you only need to pray once for something. If you pray multiple times, that basically means you're not being heard the first time, which is not really what all that is. I mean, he listens or she listens, it listens all the time. It experiences everything at the same instantaneously.
Yes.
So How do you...
But
Go ahead.
if the intentions of multiple people and prayers of multiple people pray that, intend for peace, it, well, hello, it isn't that all that is the universe, source, higher beings aren't listening and haven't heard it. But as you know, there is no such thing as time.
Yes.
And so what it does is add to the intensity, which helps to spread it outward amongst humanity itself.
Okay. That makes sense. I understand now. How does the intensity do anything when realities is really just a singularity? To me, intensity requires linear time. There is no linear time, so
No, it doesn't require linear time.
to me it does. So help me to understand. No, this is from the physical, the engineering side.
The intensity refers to the vibration that goes out to the world, to humanity, that is still basically living in time in a physical universe.
Okay. That really wasn't the question, but I realized as you started to talk, that wasn't the question I was thinking of asking, but it's the one I asked.
Yes, it is.
The question I was thinking of, you kind of answered, but I just need a little bit of clarification.
All right.
So our prayers that we give for world peace and intentions and stuff are in a way reflected may not be the proper word, but reflected back towards our 3D environment, so that the energies from those thoughts and intentions can be distributed throughout the earth. The reason I say reflected back is the singularity I just previously talked about. In other words, I'm getting hung up over the 3D world versus singularity. That's what's kind of tripping me up right now.
But I thought we had already explained.
You had, but it's still tripping me up in this instance.
You're too hung up on the concept of singularity in your engineering brain. Oh.
Okay. That's okay. I'll just have to meditate on that one.
Well, yeah, because, yes, you should be meditating on it anyway. But to clarify more, I hope, let me say I, thank you.
You had to get permission, huh?
Not per se, but they were yanking my chain, as the phrase goes, about saying I instead of we, but it's known that team is many. Think of it as a prayer goes out and bounces around like a billiard ball.
That's what I was thinking. Okay.
Right. trying to find a correlation in her brain. And first she said ping pong ball, and then she said pinball. That wasn't good description, but billiard ball, yeah. There's many billiard balls, and when they are struck and they spread out, that could be many prayers, many intentions, and they can bounce all around. Technically, though, prayers and intentions aren't limited to the table or the pockets. They continue to bounce around and magnify and gain more strength, more intensity as they go. And so multiple prayers, multiple intentions for world peace, for humanity to, something she just read, or you mentioned this maybe. If you want peace, then quit fighting. And it's already happening with the war in Ukraine, where the Russian peoples are saying enough is enough. They don't want to fight anymore. They want peace. Whether their leadership listens to them or not is another thing. But from there, I think, personally, believe that the people of Ukraine want peace. And their leadership likewise wants peace. And they're fighting to protect their homes and families as best they can from being absorbed into a repressive society. They don't want to have to fight to get it, but that seems to be what they have to do, so they'll do it. But they too would much prefer peace. And the Russian people picked up on that and other billiard balls of peace and intentions, and it's spreading across the world. Not that it's perfect yet, not that leadership has finally decided to quit being repressive, to quit warring. But as you know, in order for humanity and the earth to be lifted frequency-wise, vibrationally, it takes a fraction of the vast multitude of people on the earth right now to do that act of lifting. And so, yes, continue praying and having intentions of sending thoughts of peace and love and acceptance out to the world. So, it doesn't matter how many times. In fact, the more the merrier.
In the last session, I asked if you could discover where the ETs with the elongated skulls originated. Have you found that answer? You said you would attempt to find it.
I would attempt to find it, yes. Find it we did. It is not to be known yet.
Okay. Can I just ask a little bit of clarification? Was it in the were they from the Milky Way galaxy?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, okay, I can say...
If it is something you do not want to be released to public, I will not release it, and Sarah and I will keep it to ourselves.
It's a little more complicated than just a simple straight answer, so let's move on.
What do you mean by that?
Well, Arcturus, Arcturus, Andromeda, there are 2 or 3 different species that not reptilians, but that have worked together.
Do they travel together
Oh yeah,
in the same ship?
if
Or
they want
ships?
to, or they
Okay.
meet somewhere. But they work together to develop, I suppose, a hybrid of sorts that also spent some time here on Earth. And it's that hybrid that they concocted, that they worked together to develop it, had the elongated skulls.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
But names, as you say, are just names.
Yeah.
So I believe that was what, maybe I said too much.
It doesn't matter. Would
But-
you like me to cut this portion from the video for public release?
No, that's fine.
Okay. In a previous session, you talked about the COVID-19 virus as a way Gaia used in an attempt to heal herself. Does that mean that Gaia created the virus? Or allowed it to be created?
More
Or
like
assisted in its creation?
allowed it to be created. But you could also say she assisted because the potential and the virus that was manipulated, or however you want to look at it, or mutated enough, that was all present already on Gaia. So therefore she participated in that regard. It's like taking tea leaves and making tea out of them. Somebody had to make the tea, but the tea leaves grew because they grow on Gaia.
Okay. That answered a question I was going to ask, so thank you for that expansion of information.
Certainly.
I know the answer to this next one, but I have to ask it anyhow because it's a little question. How do we increase our awareness so we can heal others? And what should the intention be whenever we do that? Meditate, that is.
Of course, meditate with that intention. However, it takes, how shall I put it? Some individuals on your planet are given that gift of healing immediately, and they could feel it, and they feel it all, as they meditate and as they deal with people, and there's layers to it. Being able to see what's going on with a person, and that can have layers to it. And then to address whatever the person wants addressed and take care of that. Maybe even tell them about other things that need taken care of. But if you feel called, you personally, feel called to be a healer. Meditate on it. See if it's your highest passion, as Bashar says. And your meditations and life itself will help you to bring that about. But if that is not your highest passion, it's better if you don't try it before you've reached a certain level of the gift and of recognizing it. If you see someone, if you start seeing people, you're meditating on this day in and day out, and then you start being able to see when people are ailing, then you might want to begin to meditate on going farther and what you need to do with that and how you need to begin to simply put, heal people, how you would go about it, how you would learn. One of the possibilities is that someone else who is a healer may cross your path and can be a mentor and help you along that path yourself. And that would be most definitely a sign to you that you are on the right path, that is something that you want to do, you can do, and you've met the person who can teach you, and then go from there. However, if you feel like you're being blocked at every turn, that nothing's happening, maybe that is not your gift.